Raider Nation, what's going on? You guys are watching the Raiders Report, and we have some breaking news here. The Las Vegas Raiders are releasing cornerback Damon Arnette. And I mean, if you want to talk about just a crazy season that this has been for the Silver and Black, I mean, this has to be one of the most ridiculous stretches of a week that I have ever covered here at Chat Sports. But according to Tom Pelissero, the Raiders are in fact releasing Arnette, who was drafted number 19 overall in the 2020 draft. So 3 incidents involving Arnette have surfaced, and one, he was basically facing some serious disciplinary action. And, you know, I was literally on the Raiders Report 2 hours ago talking about all these reasons why I think they should release him. I've always wondered if they watch the show or if they watch my videos. Not saying that they do, but it's a little bit of interesting timing. So what I want you guys to do right now is go down in the comments and give me your one-word reaction to the Raiders deciding to move on from Arnette. And the day that the Raiders picked him at number 19 overall, I sat up here and I believe it's the lowest grade I have ever given the Raiders in all 3 years that I've done my draft grades. And sure, a lot of times I got ripped on it for, and I can understand that because people are very passionate about this team, which it's why I love the Raiders, it's why I'm a Raiders fan. But my one-word reaction to this is good. I mean, and it's really the best word I can come up with, because if I throw out some other vernaculars, people are going to be like, oh shit, that's going to end up getting blocked. The reason why it's good, Arnette's never been focused. He's never been a player that has put the team first. I really think he's been overall a very selfish player. And the moment that he was drafted, I sat up here and I said on the show that it was a bad pick. It was never going to work out because from a talent standpoint alone, he was basically a 3rd or 4th round pick. The reason why the Raiders wanted him is because of his competitiveness and because of his toughness. Well, I'm sorry. If you don't have a cornerback that can cover, and if you have a cornerback that's more worried about being a rapper or being a, you know what, off the field, a dummy, then that's a really big issue. On top of the fact that he's really not that athletic, didn't really want to work all that hard, and now we're sitting here in a situation where you drafted somebody number 19 overall just a year ago, and they are no longer a member of this Raiders team. I mean, it's from top to bottom very, very crazy. Now, last season, he did appear in 9 games, and I will say 2020 was a very difficult year for a lot of rookies, especially when you also break your hand and you're not really able to work out. But he had 25 tackles in those 9 games, 1 tackle for loss, 2 pass breakups, no interceptions. This season and last season, according to Pro Football Focus, Arnette has been one of the worst cornerbacks in all of football. I mean, you're talking about a grade under 33 this year. His grade last season was also under 50 from top to bottom. The drafting of Arnette is a major black eye on the Raiders organization. John Gruden, Mike Mayock, there's a lot of those guys. They deserve a lot of crap, and I guarantee you what, I'm going to be giving it to him. That's for damn sure. Now, I've been saying for 2 weeks, man, subscribe to the show and turn on those notifications. I almost don't know if I want to say it anymore. The amount of breaking news videos that I have done this week on this show is just mind-blowing to me. But you know what? Me and my team, we're always going to come through, and when you need a video, man, I got you covered. I'm not going to give up on y'all. And this Raiders team is still 5-3. And this might be the most craziest season of all time. So if you find yourself looking for Raiders news and rumors, I got you. You want live shows? Guess what? I got you there too. Watch parties. I go live every single Tuesday. But when breaking news happens, like the Raiders are releasing Henry Ruggs or Damon Arnette, I want you to subscribe. Turn on those notifications. That way we don't miss a thing. Let's go to 100,000 subs. Just sub, baby. All right, so Damon Arnette, no longer a member of this Las Vegas Raiders team. And some of the things that I was bringing up on the show earlier today was simply, you know, hey, man, he's got 3 new allegations against him, and I definitely think this is going to play into a factor of what the Raiders are going to decide to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to walk through some quotes that I have found, and we're going to basically talk about all these different allegations on top of Arnette. Like, let's face this, right? If these allegations come out and Arnette's one of the best cornerbacks in the league, he's still going to be a member of this team. It's the allegations, it's him doing dumb shit off the field, it's him not being able to be healthy, and it's him being a disaster when he's been on the field. That's why this release is really coming here. So the motor vehicle lawsuit, and this is according to TMZ, Arnette left the scene of an accident in October of last year near the team facility. He apparently had a friend stay at the scene to provide his contact information to authorities, but that friend then claimed to be the driver of Arnette's vehicle. The matter was sorted out by police, and Arnette was ultimately cited, but now the woman that Arnette hit on the highway was filed a lawsuit claiming damages of more than $92,000. The damages apparently include head trauma, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, depression, and even panic attacks. Now, here's my first, I'll say, take on that. The timing of this was very strange to me. The fact that it came out right after Henry Ruggs. I don't know who this woman is. I don't know exactly what's, happening here, but it did seem like very odd timing. It also does not surprise me whatsoever that Damon left the scene after a wreck because apparently he was running late to Raiders practice for his friend to stay there, and then his friend tried to take the fall for the accident. That alone is a very, very bad look from top to bottom, and this has actually been something that I've discussed on my Instagram before. If anybody doesn't follow me on IG, I keep you guys up to date. Hit me up at Mitchell Renz 365. All right, what about the second allegation here? A resort employee, and I always find myself saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. And again, these are all allegations. These are things that are still, trying to figure out what exactly has happened. But I also believe that there's certain players that put themselves in bad situations. Damon Arnette has always put himself in basically the worst situation as humanly possible because he's 22 years old, and instead of acting like a man, he acts like a little boy. So here's another quote according to Pro Football Talk on what exactly this resort employee and everything we're talking about. A lawsuit has been filed against Arnette by an employee at the area hotel and casino. Arnette was evidently told by the hotel employee that his car could not be recovered from the valet parking because Arnette had lost the receipt. This lawsuit claims that Arnette then berated and spit on the employee. Now, I don't know if anybody out there has ever been a valet parking assistant. I'll be honest with y'all, I used to be a valet parking assistant. I think it was I definitely did it all throughout college, and then I did it for almost an entire year from like 2016 to 2017 while I was trying to make some ends meet. Being in that situation, you literally can't give up your valet ticket to anybody because, God forbid, if that car's not down, that's going to come back to you, and then you're ultimately going to lose your job. Now, we've all probably have done valet maybe once or twice in our life in terms of parking a car. If you lose your ticket, there's a way to be able to handle the matter. The last thing that you should ever do to another human being is spit in their face and act just ridiculous. That, again, goes to show that Damon Arnette is a child. And now here's the thing that literally came out where if you don't think that these two things are true, then he's got a video coming out. I mean, if you guys don't believe me, I can't show the pictures or the video here on YouTube or else I'll get in trouble. But look up Damon Arnette viral video with a gun. Also, you can go on the internet and look up Damon Arnette ripping apart fans, saying just the most ridiculous things to him. And it's just a bad look from top to bottom. So here's what I got from Raiders Beat. A screen recording that surfaced last week appears to show Arnette threatening to shoot someone and waving around a collection of semi-automatic weapons. The video can be found all over social media, and the Raiders are unquestionably aware of it. Now, that quote did come out before the Raiders released Damon Arnette, but the bottom line is this. From the moment he was drafted, it's been a disaster. And now you're sitting here and he's got all this off-the-field stuff. I mean, all Damon I really think ever needed to do was to delete social media. And I get it. Sometimes, you want to be able to have this social media clout. I get it. But if all you got to do is stay off social media and make millions of dollars and set up not only you, but your family and probably generations of families for a long time, and all you got to do is stay off social media, I just don't see how that's a very difficult thing to do. Now, it still is yet to be mentioned whether or not the Raiders are going to cut him for conduct detrimental to the team, but I just want to say this again, and if you don't believe me, go to the Raiders Report YouTube channel. Look at the last video I put out 2 hours ago, and it said the Raiders should cut Damon Arnette for conduct detrimental to the team, because this is literally everything that Damon's done since the moment he's been drafted 19 months ago is literally conduct detrimental to the team. So here's exactly what the layman terms are. Conduct detrimental means a player has become a major nuisance or a distraction that is taking away from the team in which the athlete plays on. This is most often associated with something behavioral, but it can also be as a form of action as well. I would say behavioral is everything that I just went through in that list of 3 different things. I've also can say this. It's an action. He literally made a video saying that he was going to kill somebody if they pulled up to his apartment with several different weapons. Now, I understand you wanted to be able to protect yourself and be able to protect your home and all that good stuff, but there's a different way to be able to do it, especially when a teammate who was drafted just 7 picks ahead of you literally just killed somebody in an automobile accident. You shouldn't be going on social media saying that you're going to kill somebody. So, I've always said that Damon Arnette has had a bigger, he wants to be a rapper and he wants to be an off-the-field menace is probably the nicest way I can say it, more than he ever wanted to be a football player. And the risks that this team has taken on him, I'm glad he's finally off this team because he doesn't deserve to wear the silver and black. So give me a one word to describe Arnette. Just one word. And I like doing these one-word reactions because it's an easy way to be able to assess what you guys think of him. So go down in the comments. Give me your one-word reaction to Arnette. Mine is this. He's a child, and he was a child that was given a whole bunch of money and didn't know how to act like a grown-up. He's a child in the act that the way he's treating people, the way he's handling himself on social media. He is setting a bad responsibility to a lot of this younger generation that I know 100% looked up to Arnette. When you're drafted in the first round, when you're expected to be a player that's hopefully going to be a Pro Bowl caliber dude, because that's what you are expected to be when you're drafted in the first round, the fact that he's acted the way he's done and he's carried himself the way he has, he's acted like a child. And if anybody out there, I'm going to apologize right now. If you bought your son or a daughter a Damon Arnette jersey, or if you own one, I apologize, but you should have never done it. Should have watched the show. Now, if you guys want to come hang out with me in Las Vegas this weekend, I'm going to be in Las Vegas for every single Raiders home game. Where? Redtail in Resorts World. So if you want to come on, come have a good time. We're going to do watch party. We're going to do a tailgate. It's 100% free to get into, okay? So for week 10, for week 11, week 13, and then January 9th, I'll be there as well. Week 18. It's free to enter. So if you just walk up to Redtail, you say with me, hey, you're in for free. Now, if you want some special drink deals or if you want some VIP seating because the place is going to be packed, then you go to theBlackHoleEvents.com, use code Mitch, and you're going to save 20%. I'm telling you, you're going to save a lot of money if you go to that link down there below. I'm also going to put that link in the comments. It's going to be in the description. Save 20% on some drinks, some seating, all that good stuff. Just remember to use code Mitch. All right, guys, so Damon Arnette is no longer a member of the Las Vegas Raiders, and obviously there's going to be the conversation about him. But you also have to go back and say this. One of the jobs Mike Mayock was given was to be able to come in and be a draft guru. The other reason why I would always point my finger and say, you know what, maybe getting rid of John Gruden wasn't a bad thing because, I mean, we have to face it. Since 2017, the Las Vegas Raiders have had the most first-round picks, and realistically, Colton Miller's the only one that I can honestly sit here and say I am confident in being a well worthy of a first-round pick because I like what Leatherwood. He's been playing better, but he still hasn't shown me that he's been worth a first-round pick yet. We'll still give him time. But what about from 2019 to 2020? Here are the Raiders' first-round picks. You got Clelin Ferell. I mean, that's been a disaster. Josh has been a very good player. However, Josh Jacobs at the running back position. Running back's probably it's probably the worst position to pick in the first round of a draft because it's so easy to be able to be replaced. I don't see Josh Jacobs getting a contract extension. Johnathan Abram, he has definitely stepped up this year, but still was not worth being drafted in the first round. Henry Ruggs was released. Damon Arnette's released. Well, what about the 2020 draft? Because I remember multiple people after the 2020 draft saying this is the greatest Raiders draft of all time because that season in 2020, a lot of those rookies, they stepped up. Even some of the UDFAs did. But Henry Ruggs, released. Damon Arnette, released. Those are your 2 first-round picks. Lynn Bowden Jr., drafted in the 3rd round. Traded before ever playing a snap with the Raiders. Bryan Edwards is still on the roster. However, he's got 29 catches in 20 games. Tanner Muse, he was released. Right now he's on the Seahawks practice squad. And you actually were, it was a 3rd-round pick, I think 100 overall. That was a disaster one. What about John Simpson? He was drafted in the 4th round. He's right now a middle of the pack type of guard, and then you have Amik Robertson, who's played 169 snaps, who was also drafted in the 4th round. All I'm saying is this. That 2020 draft has turned out to be a disaster, and I don't actually like putting Ruggs in that conversation simply because from an on-the-field standpoint, you could see Ruggs was starting to put it together. However, now you're sitting here, you got none of your first-round picks that you had the year before. Then you're looking at a lot of those other players in the 2020 draft. You're like, man, that's been an absolute disaster. So here's my question, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here. Is Mike Mayock on the hot seat? Why for yes and for no? And I mean, I get it. There are certain things as a GM and as a head coach and as all these things, you can't plan for. And you can never plan for what happened to Ruggs last week. There's just no way around it. But I can point my finger and say, well, what about all the other draft picks? What about all the other wasted times that all the other wasted picks? Like, I personally have been saying this for weeks. Yes, Mike Mayock is on the hot seat. And now after this, I'm going to continue to say yes, because the Raiders drafting over the last 3 years has been an absolute disaster. I mean, even this past year's draft, y'all. Leatherwood, has he been worth a first-round pick? Probably not. Merrick's been good in the second round. I mean, we haven't seen Divine Diablo yet. Malcolm Kuntz hasn't stepped foot on the field yet. Yes, Nate Hobbs has been an absolute steal, but you have to be able to hit some of these early round picks, or else, guess what? I am going to once again start pointing the finger. Now, the Raiders released Damon Arnette, and I'm trying to stay calm a little bit, but this has been by far the most crazy week around the Raiders, and maybe around, I don't know, any NFL team that I have ever seen. And I really truly mean that. And I'm hoping that we can get things turned around. This team is sitting here at 5-3, and if the playoffs were to start today, I believe we're what, the 5 seed, Sam? Yeah, so the AFC playoff picture, we would be the 5 seed. You're still in first place in the AFC West, so I'm not going to go full panic mode, but you got to start putting together here a little bit on the field. So before I go, I'm going to hit you with this playoff picture. I'm going to remind you one more time to come hang out with me in Las Vegas this weekend. Get your tickets to blackholeevents.com. Use code Mitch to save 20% off. And if anything else crazy happens today, like, I don't know, something around OBJ, we're going to be making a video. So subscribe and turn on those notifications. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Monday.